Hello, everyone. My name is Vicki Walia. I'm the Chief Talent and Capability Officer at Prudential. I am so excited to be joining you today for the Eightfold Talent Summit, Cultivate 21. It's fascinating because Eightfold and Prudential, we share a common passion for innovation and specifically innovation around talent practices so that people are ready for the future and whatever their careers are going to require of them next. At Prudential, we've been undergoing a company-wide transformation and have a unique opportunity to think creatively about what the future of work is going to look like. And that future of work is really what shapes the tools that we need to succeed. And these are all things that we, obviously spend a lot of time thinking about and accelerating. And as Chief Talent and Capability Officer, I get to do this every day. So it's a very fortunate position for me to be in. We have been investing in the future of work for quite a bit of time now. We actually started our journey 3 years ago. And one of the key things that we've been trying to do is making sure that our talent practices, our talent strategy is so closely and intimately tied to our business strategy. And so one of the number one things that we do is spend a large amount of our time as talent and HR practitioners tied very closely to our business, understanding what their future direction is, understanding what the strategy is, the capabilities that underlie that, and then importantly, who are the people and what skills they need to be able to, for us to be able to execute on it. And so what that does is it requires us to stay kind of ever at the ready so that our people are relevant now, but also into the future. And we've developed a different type of muscle to work together so that we can always be outcome oriented. In fact, that outcome orientation is a really key attribute of our culture at Prudential. So let me dig a little bit deeper into our talent strategy and the skills that I believe are actually the currency of the future. You see, I think there's a huge disruption happening, and I think that the pandemic has accelerated that disruption in which work is really focused on where do you create value and where do you have an outsized impact. And for us, that starts first and foremost with the impact that we can have on customers. And we spend a lot of our time living up to our cultural aspiration around customer obsessed. And one of the ways in which we do this is we focus on customer personas. So like many of you, we have teams that are focused on persona building, creating user maps, all around what is it that the customer needs from us. In fact, I would say that the pandemic has really forced us to engage differently with our customers because of what customers need from us as an insurance company. And we've used this as an opportunity to say, well, if our customers need us to engage differently, then likely our employees need us to engage differently. And we've had a very fortunate ability to build an employee experience team. And they really help design and build all of our employee journeys kind of end to end. We've identified key moments that matter. And it's really interesting because so much of the talent strategy is around those moments that matter. And what we do is we kind of work through that and say, okay, let's take, for example, remote work and what does hybrid mean? We know that our employees fall into different segments and have different needs based on their persona. And so we've spent time building out those personas to say, here's an example of somebody who's going to need to stay fully remote because their work doesn't necessitate them being in the office, and nor do they want to be in the office. In other roles, we know that they're going to have to be in the office more because the work requires them to be in the office. In fact, what the work has been the number one driver of what our return to the workplace strategy is. And so for these people who are in the office, they have very unique needs. Some of them have childcare responsibilities. Some of them may be immunocompromised and want to be able to ensure that they're safe when they're in the workplace. Others may have, great needs and desires to be in the office because the office was kind of their home base for a lot of things that they did. And so what we've done is we've crafted personas around each of these, and we're leveraging those personas as we go back to the workplace. All of this is being done through our employee experience team, and we feel really fortunate to be able to have them guide our work and our re-entry to the workplace. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Prudential, but we are a very long tenured workforce. In fact, longevity is one of the keys to our business. the market and our customers reward us for having long-term talent. But what that does is it also makes it hard for us to think about what's coming next and how do we think about keeping that workforce and helping them plan within the boundaries and kind of walls of Prudential around what that next is. And so we've really started thinking about how do we build on the subject matter expertise, which we have in spades. We're so fortunate for the amount of subject matter expertise we have. But how do we think about things around technology skills, data skills, and enduring skills as we think about building them and developing them and deploying them into the future against new capabilities? And so we think about technology and different methodologies in terms of getting the work done and how those relate to both the customer experience, the employee experience, and product development. And so while we may have had an actuary that always functioned and worked in one way, now we want to make sure that they're part of the product team from the get-go and are iterating in real time with the product team and really part of the development of that product. That requires a whole set of new skill sets on top of the incredible subject matter expertise and skills that they already bring to the table. And some of those are about technical skills, but some of those are about enduring skills, those skills that we believe are going to be needed at all times by all people. And you may need to have them over a different type, in different kind of iterations and in different volumes. For example, critical thinking, collaboration, cultural agility. These are never going to go away. And in fact, I would argue that in the future talent marketplaces, these are becoming the more critical skill sets. And so we're constantly focused both on the reskilling of our employees, but more importantly, on the upskilling of all of our employees. And one of the ways in which we've done this is through something I'm very proud of, which is the Talent Marketplace. The Talent Marketplace is an interactive and innovative platform, and we've really been fortunate to be able to leverage some of our in-house technologies and platforms, but be able to partner with Eightfold, who helps provide a lot of the capabilities that we need around artificial intelligence and job matching to be able to help people be put in the driver's seat around their own development and around their skills. And it's been a game changer for Prudential as we think about internal mobility, as we think about upskilling and reskilling, and more importantly, how we make that a seamless journey for the employee as they go through that process. Delivering the tools that our leaders and our employees need to hire and retain the right talent, while also offering people the insights they need to being able to drive some of that development and those next opportunities is a really unique opportunity as a Chief Talent and Capability Officer. We often think about these things. I think we all aspire to being able to make people the cornerstone of their career plan, but now we really have the tools that enable us to do that. And so as we think about the war for talent and having an entrenched workforce, we know that we're not just competing within financial services anymore. In fact, I'm talking to candidates from Google and Amazon who are really evaluating what we bring to the table versus what they bring to the table. And I can tell you, I'm really excited about what Prudential brings to the table because we are an employee-centric company, but more importantly, we are a development-centric company. One of the other things that we've been doing is really been focused on racial equity. And racial equity is really important to us. We started really doubling down on our efforts through a series of racial equity commitments that we made last summer in response to the George Floyd murder. And the commitments that we've made are really structured around three things. How do we have an impact as an employer to our employees? How do we as an employer and as a large entity that has a big presence in the US markets have an impact on the society and kind of the ways in which we engage as a broader organization? And finally, how do we have impact towards our customers? And how do we make sure that we are meeting the needs of all Americans, even those who may not be advantaged in more traditional ways? And the first set of commitments is the ones that I'm the most passionate about in my role, and which is the commitments that we've made to our people. We've identified very concrete steps by taking a micro practice view of each and every one of our talent practices. So for example, how do we make sure that opportunities are open and transparent to everyone, not just tapping the person that you know on the shoulder? and kind of saying to them, here's a development opportunity, here's the next role, here's a stretch assignment for you. But how do we make sure that that access is democratized so that everyone has an opportunity to engage and participate in it? And what's really exciting is that our talent marketplace enables that, because what it does now is always serves up opportunities in a very proactive way to people around what is next for them and what are they qualified for, rather than them being waited to be tapped on the shoulder for something. It's helping us make great inroads in being inclusive, but it's also helping us be much more aware of just the skills and plethora of talent that we have within our borders. And I think that's a really key part as we think about being a more inclusive organization, because it's natural to think about, what did this person do last, or what are they doing here that I know about? But we come with diverse and rich experiences, and something like the talent marketplace enables us to better understand what those experiences are, what those skill sets are, and how they could potentially be deployed in a different way at a different time. So offering opportunities to develop to people both on their technical skills, but also on enduring skills, is really a key way in which we think about creating transparency and accessibility to all of our people at Prudential. And we're really excited about what this means for us, and are pushing hard as we move forward into the future. As we focus on the future of work at Prudential, one of the things that we cannot ignore is the impact of our total reward strategy. In fact, we are constantly looking at, what does a skill currency mean for our compensation packages? And we're very fortunate to have a phenomenal head of total rewards at Prudential who's helping us work through these things and helping us understand the value and the impact of the work that people bring. I'm proud of the progress that we're making at Prudential. I'm excited that I get to lead our talent strategy, and I'm excited that I get to partner with Eightfold. And so with that, thank you for allowing me to share how we've been thinking about our talent strategy at Prudential. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy the Cultivate Conference.